I just came back from a 3,152-mile road trip in my 21 Type R. I went to Canton, Ohio, visited a friend. Then I went to Illinois and hung out with some family about 40 minutes north of St. Louis. Then some family and I went to Panama City Beach, Florida, and hung out there for a week. It was so much fun. I can't wait to do it again. While I was out there, I was like, you know what? I haven't shot a video in a long time. So when Prismbeam reached out to me and asked me if I'd be willing to check out a set of their RGB taillights for the 10th Gen Civic, I was like, you know what? Let's do it. So let me replace these Oakleys with these Ray-Bans. Let's get to work. So much better. Welcome back. We're going to get right into it. You're going to need a flathead screwdriver. Take these two clips out. You're also going to need a 10mm socket, an 8mm socket, the socket wrench, and an extension. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to pop these two handle covers off, which will gain you access to the two 10mm bolts. There will be 4 of those. Break out your trusty flathead screwdriver again, and you need to remove these 2 rubber stops. That's what I'm going to call them. Now you're ready to pull the panel off. Grab yourself a panel tool or just use your hands like I do and start pulling. You're gonna break some of these green clips, at least one. No matter what, you're breaking at least one, so you might want some extras. Now, once you have that panel off, you can start working on the hatch lights. You're gonna have 2 8mm bolts and an 8mm nut. You might need a deep well socket for that nut, but I was able to do it with a short socket. And as always, it's the same on both sides. Lastly, just unplug the light. Now it's time to remove the lights. Now, when you pull them out, it might be tough at first because there is a foam, like waterproof adhesive there that you do kind of have to pry on it a little hard. You probably wouldn't believe it, but that's the hardest part of this whole thing, was taking all that out just to get to those little lights. These are much easier to get out. To remove the quarter lights, all you need is a Phillips, or I think it's a 10mm, maybe? I'm not sure. I never used a ratchet for it. Just grab yourself a Phillips. That's all you need for this one. Now, there are 2 little pin tabs on the side. Yours isn't going to come out as easy as mine does, just because I've had mine out so many times. The first time is always the hardest. So you kind of just got to do what I did there. Just try to get your fingers back there and just work at it, wiggle it back and forth. Once you get it out, just unplug it. And again, you do it the same for both sides. Woo. That felt like it was never going to end. Now, if you've been around the channel long enough, you know that I always make sure and test everything before I button everything up and tighten everything up together. So, as you can see, I actually had to run a bunch of wires. You have to go from tail light to upper tail light on both sides, and then lower tail light back and forth. You don't have to do that to the top, though. And the other weird thing is, though, you do not have to use the factory harness. But we're going to test it out and see. Let's lower the hatch and get a little glimpse of what it'll look like. Ooh, that looks pretty good. Let me, I don't know if it'll do it because I have my doors open. But let me pull my keys out and see if it does anything. Ooh. All right, we know that the turn signals work and the 4-ways work. That's good. I'm gonna have to sit you down so you can see the brake lights. gonna be honest, I didn't know about the startup sequence until I just watched back that last clip. Ooh, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool. I like that a lot. All right, this was a little bit more complicated than I expected, so let me walk you through it before I go any further. So up here, what I did was I took some electrical tape and I just taped it there to hold it there, especially while I'm trying to put the panel on. I zip tied it to the wiring harness right here, pulled the weather strip, tucked it back in behind the paneling, down pat behind the carpet. Now, when it comes to the wiring to the taillight, you have to push this grommet in. You have to run one of the longest wire you can run through. The shortest wire, you have to take the other end and run it through the opposite direction. And you have to do that for both sides. Now this side, I did the same thing, ran it, taped it up. Well, the tape came off, but the tape's really only there to hold it there until I get the panel on. Ran it down through here. This is going to be showing. There's not really anything I can do about that. Have to pull the panel back, tuck it in behind here, run it down through here, and same with the harness on this side. Now you're gonna have a lot of extra wire and you just have to tuck it in behind, back in behind the carpet on both sides. And then the wire that runs between the lower taillights, literally just pulled the kick panel here, pulled the carpet back, ran it back up through there. So all I have left to do is put the 2 bolts in, tighten them, tighten the nut, same on this side, put the panel back on, put the clips on, that kind of thing. Same here, put the 2 screws in both sides, push the taillight in, put the weather strip back on, and that'll be it. But before I do that, I gotta make sure. The one thing I missed earlier was I missed the reverse. So I'm gonna double check it again just to make sure everything works before I button it all up. The lights did come with instructions, and attached to those instructions is a QR code. All you have to do is scan it to download the app. It also did come with a remote that all you have to do is click it when it's activated, and it puts them right back to red. I'm going to give you a little light show here. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you when it's over.
Big shout out once again to Prismbeam for sponsoring today's video. I will leave a link to the taillights in the description. Be sure to go get yourself some. Personally, I like them a lot. They're RBGs. Don't get me wrong, I love the Op 7s too, but it was time for a new look. It's also time for a new look in the front end because Prismbeam was kind enough to send me a set of their headlights for the 10th Gen Civic, which I will be installing in the next video. I'll see you there.